Denbrock back to throw. Here comes the pressure and sacked. Denbrock gets back to the line of scrimmage. So that's not going to be officially a sack, but essentially it was a sack there. 3rd and 10 for the Bruins. South Gibson's converted 3rd downs like clockwork in the second half. Let's see if USJ can. Denbrock back to throw, chips, and incomplete. Is Hayden Lewis able to get pressure on him and bat that one down, Sammy? And now the red-hot South Gibson offense going to get the ball right back.
South Gibson County, the last 2 plays, has moved one of their linebackers up on the line of scrimmage, so they've effectively went from a 3-4 to a 4-3, and then brought pressure from the backside, which hurried to throw him at now.
Mitchell Bonneford to punt it away. Lashley and Calderon standing back to receive the punt. Bonneford's punt, line driver, going to hit it to 35 and roll. Inside the 30 and marked down near the 29-yard line. So that's where South Gibson, and now into this red-hot offense from South Gibson. Now with 2 scoring drives in the second half, we'll have the ball with 11:02 left in the game, and South Gibson leading by 2.
Yeah, and they're red hot right now. Got all the momentum. What USA needs is to force some kind of turnover. Now, I don't think they're going to see the ball in the air a lot, so they're going to have to put a head on the ball somewhere and get something to pop loose.
That ball rolling out of bounds at the 30. South Gibson at their own 30, 1st and 10. Lowry out of the gun. Moving left to right on your dial, 2 wide receivers. Lowry, he'll hand it off. Looking for the edge, now cutting back to the 35 before he's taken off his feet. The gain is 5 yards, and that's exactly what South Gibson wants, 5 yards on first down.
Oh, yeah, they've run that jet sweep to death. That's about the 6th or 7th time that they've run it. They've only been stopped for negative yardage once, I think, Dan. So their wideouts are doing a good job blocking.
Clock is moving, 10:32 left. We're in the 4th quarter. Here's Lowry. He'll keep it this time. Lowry from the 35 out to the 40, a gain of right at 5. Colton Lowry's close to a first down. They may have to measure this one again. Michael Taylor being helped off the field, his second big injury tonight for USJ. Cody Kilburn, his starting wide receiver, knocked out of the game in the first half. New set of downs. South Gibson at their own 40. Here's Lowry. He'll keep it. Running the football. Flag down. He's got room. 45 to the 50 into USA territory. He's taken off his feet at the 46, but a flag down at the 40. And Sammy in direction of holding.
I believe that was holding, Danny.
Trey Smith entering the game for USJ. He's only a freshman. And narrator, Trey we thought him when we met him, he was a senior or in college. He's about 6'4" and about 230 pounds and a freshman. He's going to be a beast for USJ. First down and 20. South Gibson, new line of scrimmage, their own 30. Lowry out of the gun. Fumbles it, picks it up. Now here comes the pressure. Rolling right, firing, got a man. Caught at the 40 and knocked out of bounds at the 41-yard line. On the reception, Garrett Lashley, and everything going right for South Gibson. The snap was low, fumbled, the pressure was coming, and they still end up picking up 11 yards. The gain officially is 11 and second down and 9. South Gibson at their own 41. Here's Lowry out of the shotgun. Lowry, he'll hand it off. Elder straight ahead for the 41 out to the 45. A narrator, this is right in the wheelhouse, the ballywick of South Gibson. It brings up third down and right at 5. And that's where they've really enjoyed success here in the second half.
Well, I'd be looking for the option again this time, man.
So,
third down and 5. Option left side this time with room into USA territory. First down yardage all the way down to the 41-yard line. And another third down conversion. Narrator, we missed what you said a moment ago. Let's go back down to the narrator on the field.
Well, we were talking about the physical nature of football. When I look down this line here, and you got Patey with his shoulder or his arm in a sling. You've got Cody Kilburn on crutches. You got Ben on crutches. They're trying to diagnose Michael Taylor now. It's walking wounded over here on the USJ sideline.
8:30 left as the clock now becoming an ally of South Gibson. 1st and 10. Here's Lowry. Back to throw. Rolling right. Looking. Lowry under pressure. Throwing. A diving catch at the 27-yard line for another first down. Is Chris Calderon laid out for that one. You won't see a more beautiful catch.
That was a good catch, Danny. He had a short receiver that he faked it to, and then he laid it out, and the receiver dove for it, caught it, brought it back in the stomach. Good throw, good catch.
Oh, narrator, that was a fine catch there. The son of Chad Lowry, quarterback in here. We got penalty flags. Illegal procedure looks like coming the way of South Gibson. Back down to the sideline of the narrator. Lowry, the quarterback, the son of Angie and Chad Lowry. Chad, the police chief over there in Medina. 1st and 15, new line of scrimmage 37. Lowry, pitch it left side, option, not much there, knocked down.
Carry by number 18.
After a yard or so, Austin Elder on the carry.
Nice tackle on the play by number 21.
On the tackle is Charlie Hughes. He's a tough, roughneck football player.
That was an excellent play. He played off the block of the wideout with his hands, then got rid of him and come up and made a real good tackle. A really good play for that young man.
They knocks Elder down at the line of scrimmage. No gain. Well, no, they say he did. They give him momentum to the 37 against 2. Lowry out of the gun. Here's Lowry, play action, back to throw. Fires across the middle, caught. 10-5. Touchdown. Oh, boy. That covers 32 yards. It's Colton Lowry with a bullet to Chris Calderon. And the Hornet touchdown in 4 drives in 4 touchdowns. I make that 3 drives and 3 touchdowns in the second half for South Gibson. Wow.
Dan, that was the same play that they scored or got the ball down to the 3-yard line a while ago. They just stuck it in, quarterback dropped back, inside receiver, faked the block.
19 unanswered points for South Gibson. That's after USJ had just put up 21 unanswered points. So a game of streaks here, and they're going to fake it. Calderon going for 2, and he's not going to get there. I tell you, that could play big because that keeps it a 1-possession game. So it's 6:53 left in the game on U Score. South Gibson 29, USJ 21.
You're watching the BallGame Blitz.
We're Hardy, Martin, and Donahoe. At our law firm, we've been trying lawsuits for right at 35 years.
We're not about flashy commercials or gimmicks. We're about results.
If someone injures you, don't just take any old settlement. If they will not offer you a fair amount, we will try your case to get what you deserve.
We're Hardy, Martin, and Donahoe. And if we can help, give us a call.
Tipping the scales in your favor.
.653 left in the football game, and we may be set up for a fantastic finish here. Is South Gibson's Lashley set to kick off to the Broad. Another high pop fly. Fair catch made by Charlie Hughes at the 35-yard line, and that's where USJ will take over 1st and 10. 6:52 left in the game. And Sammy, I don't know if I've seen a game that featured 21 points unanswered by USJ, and now we've seen 19 unanswered by South Gibson.
Yeah. It's been a heck of a ball game.
Oh, yeah.
I tell you what, it's been so good that I'm just now noticing that the cheerleaders have got pink pom-poms and it's 6 minutes and 52 seconds to go in the game.
That's in Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Here's Denbrock back to throw. Here comes the pressure. Rolling right. Firing. Got a man It's Orr. Oh, he almost made a one-handed spectacular catch at the South Gibson 45, but it's broken up right there. And Austin Orr, he has made some circus catches this year. That would have been another one.
Well, it was well covered. And it's just a great throw, almost great catch, and good defensive play. It's just a good ball game now, Mo.
Oh, it is. Clock stop, 6:44 left, 29-21. South Gibson an 8-point lead. Second and 10, USJ moving right to left from their own 35. Here's Denbrock, back to throw. Here comes the pressure. Denbrock setting up the screen, has it. And a late hit on Denbrock gets a flag down as this screen's going nowhere. And Botiford stopped it. This may be a big mistake by South Gibson. A flag is down, and that is roughing the passer. That's a 15-yard penalty and a first down for USJ. Wow, a big first down, and South Gibson there making a big mistake.
Well, they changed their defensive alignment again. They went from a 3-4 to a 4-3, and they brought the linebacker from the wide side of the field. And after he threw the ball, he just popped him. So, getting late in the game, you can't make mental mistakes.
Well, that's not going to sit well with Scott Stidham because South Gibson had a lot of momentum right there.
No, and for the most part, South Gibson is a well-coached team, and he's going to coach a kid up on the sideline when he gets him over there. You can't make those kind of mental mistakes when you're trying to put a game away.
New line of scrimmage, the 50. First down. Here's Denbrock back to throw. Fires it out, incomplete over the head of Austin Orr at the 45. It'll be second and 10.
We're starting to get a little after-action reports down there, and there's the ball's away, and offensive and defensive linemen are still battling, and the play's already over. Referees or Mike Martin's going to step in and get the captains together after a while if they keep up that stuff.
It's been a well-contested game.
Yeah.
Second and 10. USJ from the 50. Down by 8. 4 wide receivers. Botiford lone setback. Here is Denbrock back to throw. Fires it out. And high again for Austin Orr. Same pattern and same result. High and incomplete. Dan Reaves, Sammy Sampson, and Richard, the narrator Barber on his sideline. Chris Berlin, the brewmeister, producing and directing. Jonathan Greer on the TV side. Meredith Maroney, also a part of the broadcast team here. USJ, South Gibson in a classic. Right now it's 29-21, South Gibson. 6:18 left. USJ third and 10 from the 50. Denbrock back to throw. Denbrock, plenty of time, fires, caught at the 38, and a first down. A clutch catch by Austin Orr in traffic, and a First State Bank first down. And narrator Denbrock, give him credit for threading the needle, and Austin Orr making a catch in traffic.
Well, and give him credit for his poise because, quarterbacks have mental clocks. And he had to know that clock was running down, but he found Austin Orr. Austin looked the ball in. They picked up a big first down.
New line of scrimmage, the South Gibson 38. Here's Botiford straight ahead, going nowhere. He's hit a drop, maybe a yard, Sammy, that's all.
I'll tell you what, defensive line for South Gibson County, they squeezed both of the tackles in or pinched them in, and he didn't have anywhere to go that time, man.
5:35 left in the game, 29-21, 8-point lead for South Gibson. USJ second and 10 from the Hornet 38. Denbrock back to throw, fires, caught. A sliding catch at the 35. The game is 3 yards. The catch made by William Jones, and narrator another big third down. I don't know if I remember a game with this many third downs for both teams.
Well, yeah, I don't either. And South Gibson's had a lot of success with theirs. USJ needs some here.
Better watch the blitz.
3rd and 7 from the South Gibson 37. Here comes the blitz. Denbrock fires, caught Eric Arnold, and he's knocked down at the line of scrimmage. So he may have got a yard, and that's all. So it'll be 4th down. And narrator, I don't think that Marley's even going to think about it. He already had a play call. They're going for it on 4th down.
Yeah, Denbrock was making his way over here. Marley gave him the play, He's back in the huddle. We'll see where we're going to go with it.
No gain on third down. It's 4th and 7. The Bruins are going for it. 4.5 minutes left, down by 8. From the South Gibson 35, here's Denbrock. Here comes the blitz. Denbrock stands in, fires, incomplete. Oh, boy. They're bringing in pressure, Sammy, and South Gibson's getting to him. And he had to throw it before he wanted to. He couldn't find a man. So now South Gibson will take over 1st and 10 with an 8-point lead. 4:17 left in the game from the old 35. Lowry option and ball's on the ground, and Lashley covers it up at the 30. He'll lose 5 yards. And narrator, I don't know if I pitch a ball up by 8 points with 4 minutes left. I think I'm nursing more, but that's been the success tonight for the formula for South Gibson.
Well, I agree with you, Dan. You can see what can happen when you pitch like that. You just got just under 4 minutes. You don't run clock right here. Be safe.
2nd and 15. Here's Lowry out of the gun. Option right side. Another pitch. Elder with room to the 37 and fights out to the 39. A penalty flag comes in. Austin Orr in on the tackle. We'll have to wait and see what this flag is on. But this was probably going to be, it is, holding on South Gibson. So now with 3:38 left and South Gibson running in reverse and USJ with 3 timeouts, now it's a battle of the Bruins trying to hold them here for field position, Sammy.
Well, I can tell you, Richard, why they're running so many options. They have discovered that the safeties have got to pitch. And if anybody blocks one of the safeties, they've got a really big play. But you can't hold, and you've got to stay mentally alert at this point in the ball game.
2nd and 25, new line of scrimmage. South Gibson zone 24. Here's Lowry out of the shotgun with 3 wide. Lowry, he'll keep it. Lowry hit. Lowry dropped. He moves from the 25 to the 26. It's a gain of a yard. And now Mickey Molly will call a timeout.
You're watching the Ball Game Blitz.
Hometown Self-Storage serves all of Gibson County, is open 7 days a week, and has locations in Milan, Humboldt, Medina, and is coming soon to Trenton. Call us at 571-1517 for all your storage needs.
3rd and 19. From the 26. Here's South Gibson. Lowry. He'll hand it off. Straight ahead. Elder. Not much. It'll be 4th down and long. And Mickey Molly burns his 2nd timeout. We'll take it with it. 3:14 left in the ball game. It's South Gibson 29 and USJ 21.
You're watching the Ball Game Blitz.
Don't forget to like us.
Orr standing at his own 35. Lashley should get his foot into it near his own 18. High snap, Lashley gets it nearly blocked. Lashley, a beautiful punch. Here's Orr, 40 to the 45 and knocked down at the 46-yard line. Garrett Lashley went up high to get that snap, and it got a beautiful kick out of there and gave his team time to get down and cover that punt. If South Gibson holds on to Garrett Lashley, we'll look at that punch because that snap was high. Lashley, brilliant play.
That came within an eyelash of being blocked, Dan. From either side, it could have been blocked.
So USJ, 1 timeout left. 3 minutes and 4 seconds remain. Down by 8. 1st and 10 to all 46. Denbrock back to throw. Denbrock time. Now here comes the pressure. Rolling right, firing, caught, and spinning down to the South Gibson 45. Austin Orr doing what Austin Orr does now, ready to make it a great catch and pick it up 9 yards.
Yeah, and he did a good job to maintain his focus because I'm not sure South Gibson didn't get to him just a little early.
I agree with you, Richard.
2nd down of the yard at the South Gibson 45. Here's Denbrock out of the gun, back to throw. Denbrock, plenty of time, going deep for just out of the reach of Austin, diving for it down at the 12, and I think Austin may have shaking himself up, diving for that football. And Sammy, let's go back now with 2:24 remaining in the game. It's a one-possession game, an 8-point lead for South Gibson. They missed, had an extra point blocked, and then a bad snap on the most recent extra points. So that kept the game at a one possession.
Right.
And so USJ now 3rd down and 1 from the South Gibson 45. Big play coming up here. Denbrock back to throw. Fires it out. Caught at the 40 and knocked down there on the reception. William Jones, tackle made by Chris Calderon. Let's go down the narrator. What a gutsy call by Marley on 3rd and 1 to go to the air.
Well, and as that play was developing, I thought, well, are they going to try to run it to pick up the yard? They just got one timeout left. No, Marley did what Marley does.
1st and 10. That's a first state bank. First down for the Bruins at the South Gibson 40. Here's Denbrock. Back to throw. Denbrock firing and incomplete. A nice job by Denbrock. But he did have a man wide open near the goal line. And that man was William Jones. He didn't see him because the pressure came. Right. He had to roll to his right.
But if he could have looked back that way, there wasn't anybody within 25 yards of him. He could have just laid it out there to him, and he could have walked in there.
And if you're Marley, you may want to roll Denbrock to the right and then come back that way.
Yeah.
Clock stops, 2 minutes, 1 second left. 2nd and 10. USJ at the South Gibson 40. Here's Denbrock, back to throw. Pump fake, going for it all down the sideline. Incomplete. Broken up down there. South Gibson well covered. Here's Denbrock. By Hayden Scott, he was trying to hit one foot all down the sideline. Jones at the goal line, and now Eddie Jones is down. 3rd down and 10. USJ from the South Gibson 40. 3 wide, split ball right. 1 to the left. Here is Denbrock back to throw. Here comes the pressure. Firing. Tipped and incomplete. Looking for Austin Orr. 1 to the left. In double coverage. Broken up by Kelsey Curry. It'll be 4th down and 10. The clock stops with 1:48 left in the game. Tipped and in.
South Gibson's got good closing speed. So it looks like Denbrock's always throwing into the crowd. He's not able right now to hit his receivers in stride.
4th and 10. Here's Denbrock. Here comes the blitz. And tipped, batted, incomplete. Oh, boy. And he had a man wide open, too. And that was probably going to be a conversion. But give South Gibson credit. That blitz came, Sammy. They got to him again.
Yes, indeed. He got his hands up, tipped the ball. And, of course, let's see, who do they have next week, man?
Well, you don't have to actually make the sack for a blitz to be successful, and that was another great example of it. USJ's off next week, Sam.
All right.
And then they've got Chester County on October 25th.
Chester County and then St. George, yeah.
Timeout, South Gibson will take it with them. 1:44 left. South Gibson 29 and USJ 21.
You're watching the Ball Game Blitz.
Dale's Recycling has 3 locations, Milan, McKenzie, and Jackson, and is one of the largest recycling centers in West Tennessee. Their recycling is environmentally friendly, and they recycle most metals, radiators, batteries, and much more. Besides recycling, Dale's also buys and sells used farm equipment, industrial equipment, and military surplus. For more information about what they recycle or their inventory, go to dales-recycling.com or call their Milan number at 731-686-2500.
29 and 21 here. South Gibson leading USA by 8, and South Gibson now going into the victory formation and just kneeling on the football. And USA, one more timeout. They burn it, and they can't stop it rest of the way. Timeout USA will take it with them. 1:42 left.
You're watching the Ball Game Blitz.
Hometown Self Storage serves all of Gibson County, is open 7 days a week, and has locations in Milan, Humboldt, Medina, and is coming soon to Trenton. Call us at 571-1517 for all your storage needs.
Now down to 1:42 remaining. South Gibson enjoying an 8-point lead. And they're just going to kneel on the football. Now we whistles. Let's go down the narrators at his sideline. Here's Richard Barber.
Well, this one will be a tough one to swallow for USJ. They had their shots, and they were able to put some things together there coming out of halftime. But as we talked before, fellas, it's turnovers. Turnovers will kill you. When that kickoff was muffed, and that turned the tide for South Gibson, and they took advantage of it.
Thanks, Sammy. He's right. That was the play of the game right there.
Oh, yeah, he's exactly right.
South Gibson going to run a play here. Here's Lowry. He'll keep it from the 34. Lowry's out to the 37.
Number 79, Chris Stevenson. Along with number 55.
It'll be third down and long here for South Gibson.
Bring a third down for South Gibson. Ball is spotted on the 38.
I would imagine he will keep it again this time, Manny.
Yes, South Gibson did the math and said we can't run it all the way down. I guess, because narrator, that's a little strange. You go to victory formation on first down, and on second down, you run an option.
Yeah, that is a little strange.
And out of the shotgun, third down and 12, here's Lowry. Lowry, he'll keep it straight ahead. Going nowhere, hit at the line and drops. So down to 46 seconds left, and USA got another player injured, and this time it's Joseph Patterson. He's going to stay in. Looked like his wrist. He's favoring his right wrist. It's a good thing the Bruins are off next week. Man, they've got a lot of players injured. And the coaches did spot that. They're going to have Joseph come out of the game, or he wasn't going to come out. Campbell Carlock is in the game for Patterson. Campbell Carlock, only a freshman, but boy, he's played well when he's been in there. Down to 9 seconds. And can't run it completely out. And South Gibson will call a timeout. Now they have to come in and punt it away. Well, delay a game. They didn't burn the timeout, delay a game. They'll move them back 5 yards to the 34-yard line. But now, Sammy, you've got to execute a punt.
Or you can get it run around for 3 or 4 seconds.
Which would probably be the thing to do. But you better make sure that you run all 6 seconds off the clock. Yeah.
That's true. But there's 2 or 3 different things can go wrong when you punt the ball this late in the game. You got to have a good snap. We saw a high snap a while ago. Then he's got to catch it. Then he's got to punt it. It's 6.5 dozen open sometime now.
Well, fellas, y'all think about 6 seconds now. 6 seconds is a pretty good length of time to run around and not have nobody catch you.
Yeah, it is. Working in your favor, though, if you're South Gibson, is you have 34 yards behind you to run around.
That's true.
But if you're caught on the 5 and stripped, then you might have problems.
But then they still got to score a touchdown and get a 2-point conversion. And
South Gibson's not going to punt it away. Out of the gun, and that's what they're going to do.
He's going to take a safety.
Just going to run it into the end zone, and Sammy beat me to the punch. They take a safety, and that's the way the game's going to end. As South Gibson puts Hayden Lewis in there, and he just took the snap and ran back to the end zone, and that's the ball game. Final score, South Gibson 29 and USJ 23.
You're watching the Ball Game Blitz.